Dear teachers, I am Shimiao, a doctoral student majoring in public policy management. The title of my thesis is Research on the Construction of a Big Data Support Service Platform for Top Influential Think Tanks in Chongqing. Next, I will introduce the basic top content of the thesis. First of all, the first part is my writing logic. The whole content of this paper is written around SOP. I put forward the following 7 research questions based on the development background of high-end think tanks in China, respectively is 1. What's the definition of top influential think tanks? And what are the characteristics of top influential think tanks? 2. What's the relationship between top influential think tanks and big data service platforms? 3. What are the elements that influence the construction of top influential think tanks big data support service platform? 4. What's the status of big data support service platform of influential top think tanks at home and abroad? 5. It's necessary for Chongqing's influential top think tanks to build a big data support service platform. 6. What's the correct situation of Chongqing's top think tanks big data service support level? What problem exist? What's the construction path of Chongqing think tank's big data platform? Shows in form of technology roadmap. Next, I will explain the solution of each research question and its specific position in the paper. 1. What's the definition of a top influential think tanks, and what are the characteristics of top influential think tanks? By reviewing Chinese and foreign literature, the author found that the definition of top impact think tanks differs in different contexts, and top impact think tanks in different periods have different characteristics. When studying the problems, I took 2 theories as the basis of my research, namely think tanks construction theory and knowledge management theory in particular. These 2 theories are also the theoretical support of this paper. The research process of this problem is described in section 1.7 and 2.1 of this paper. 2. What's the relationship between top influential think tanks and big data service platform? The relationship between top influential think tanks and big data support service platform is identified through a case study of domestic and foreign top influential think tanks with big data support service platforms, as well as through the literature review method. The research of domestic and foreign scholars on this content is structured, and the relationship between the two is derived. This paper is written in part 2.1.2 of the paper. What are the elements that influence the construction of top influential think tanks big data support service platform? I am using the supposing questionnaire and survey questionnaire research method as data resources. The collected data were classified and organized according to the open coding main, coding selective, coding method, and combined with the software envelope to finally arrive at the element affecting the construction of the big data service, finally platform for top impact think tanks. The part is written in section 4.1 of the main text. Envelope software and Excel were used to encode and analyze the primary data. The output content of data results are table 421, table 422, and tables 423 in the text. The special fact data collection table is listed in Annex 1, and the analysis results are listed in 4.1.1 and 4.1.4. What's the status of big data support survive platform of influential top think tanks at home and abroad? I am further understands the operation status of big data support service platform of top influential think tanks at home and abroad by collecting information, conducting case studies of influential top think tanks big data platforms at home and abroad from experiences and using symposium questionnaire and survey questionnaire research method as data sources. Meanwhile, questionnaire related to the construction of big data support service platform and the development of think tanks were designed to study the operation of think tanks, the information content and information access of big data platforms. Finally, combining the cases experiences of influential top foreigner think tanks in building big data support service platform and think tanks construction series, suggestions for the construction of big data support service platform of top influential think tanks in Chongqing are proposed. The part of the research content is listed in sections 4.2 and 4.44 of the paper. 5. It's necessary for Chongqing's top influential top think tanks to build a big data support service platform. The necessity of building the top influential think tanks to build a big data support service platform in Chongqing is derived from the interview with experts of type 2 domestic think tanks and the study of the operation of the big data service platform of non-core think tanks in China. This paper of the study is in part 4.1.1 and 4.2 of the text. 6. What's the correct situation of Chongqing's top think tanks big data survives support level? What problem exit? On the basis of the development status of Chongqing think tanks in 2.1.1, the correct big data service platforms of Chongqing think tanks are compared with the big data support service platforms of think tanks elsewhere in China to identify the problems in construction of big data support service platform of top influential think tanks in Chongqing. The part of the research data analysis process described in section 4.3 of the paper. The summary is presented in section 4.3.6. This part of the research content is listed in section 2.1.2 and 4.3 and 4.3.6 of the paper. 7. What's the construction path of Chongqing think tank's big data platform? Shown in form of technology roadmap. Based on the preliminary research as well as through literature review and cases analysis, the thesis adopts the technology foresight approach to form a path and model for top influential think tanks big data support service platform in Chongqing, and puts forward relevant suggestions to solve this problem based on think tanks construction theory and governance theory. Based on the exciting big data technology and the correct situation at the demand of top influential think tanks in Chongqing. The construction path is divided into 5 models. The results of the However, research questions also provide the research basis for constructing the path. This part of the research content is listed in section 5.2.3. Next, I will introduce the research framework of this paper. Think tanks construction theory and knowledge management theory are theoretical support of the whole paper, and different research methods are adopted for different research questions. Specific research methods are divided into quantitative analysis and qualitative analysis. They are: 1. Literature research method; 2. Quantitative analysis method, sample questionnaire; qualitative analysis method, data counting and analysis; quantitative analysis method, questionnaire research method, statistic analysis method, case study method. For different research questions, I also adopt the method of cross argumentation between quantitative analysis and qualitative analysis. For example, the fifth research question is that the necessary for Chongqing's influential top think tanks to build a big data support service platform. During the survey, I first interviewed the experts in the interview think tanks and sorted out the interview contents to obtain the opinions of the experts and demonstrate whether it's necessary. This part of the analysis is section 4.1.1 of the paper, followed by the survey on the contents access of Chongqing think tanks and other local think tanks in China, from which it can be seen that there is a certain gap. So it's necessary to establish a big data support service platform. Qualitative and quantitative cross certification can make the research result of the paper more credible and effective. Among them, first-hand data from relevant literature, foreigner cases, questionnaire research, and expert interviews. The participating institutions of this paper are Chongqing Science and Technology Bureau, Chongqing Institution of Science and Technology, Chongqing Think Tanks Alliance, and Chongqing University and Southwest University of Political Science and Law School level think tanks. Through the above research and analysis, from the summary of this paper, innovation result: 1. Find the key elements that top influential think tanks to build big data support service platform. 2. Forming a path to build top influential think tanks big data service platform, as well as the expected result of the think tank's application of big data. 1. Provide theories and research methods that can be drawn on for the application in integration of think tanks consulting service platform. 2. Formation of think tanks consulting service products. And 3. Build for the government enterprises, specialized consulting service such as think tanks consulting service platform. 4. Gathering data resources for think tanks consulting service and provide a number of think tank services. 5. Establishing a national network and ecosystem of think tanks consulting services. Through the research and analysis of research objective, a conclusion is formed. All the conclusions of this paper corresponded to the research questions in thesis 1.3. Through the research, The summary of the research question found the conclusion. Top influential think tanks found that Chongqing Big Data Support Service Platform also faced many problems. So I am accredited China's policy to know, respective for the development of the think tank, the development of the large data service platform, and the government put forward the corresponding suggestions. Advice content basis is also closed around above 5.2 part of the formation of the conclusion, while suggestion for strengthening support for this think tanks build platform. 1. The importance of improving the industry. 2. Join the power of all parties in the city. 3. Strengthening financial security measure. 4. Step-by-step promotion of application demonstration. Recommending for the big data support service platform, it's recommending to accelerate the construction of big data application platform. 1. Build big data application, analysis and a platform. 2. Construction of processor segmentation database. 3. Establishing a regional think tanks, big data and alliance. 4. Build a data sharing platform. Suggestion to the government. 1. It's recommended to establishing a long-term merchandising for think tanks to access government big data. 2. It's suggested that the Big Data Bureau should coordinate. 3. It's recommended to open up multiple types of data resources. That's all. Thank you for your listening. Thank you very much.